And welcome back to the Asylum here on Metalholic Radio. You've just heard Trenches from the upcoming Pop Evil album, Onyx. And with us right now, the main man himself, Leigh Kakaty of Pop Evil. How you doing, brother?
Good, man. Thanks for having me on.
Absolutely. It's always fun talking to you. It's been a while since our last conversations. I just ran into your buddy Chris Eiteen this week. He's on his way back to hit the road with you guys on Friday, so...
Yeah, he's been out with Avatar while we've been in the studio, so they've had our whole crew. So it's nice to help out, but it's good to be back with our crew, and I'm excited to see him and the boys and get back on the touring circuit.
Absolutely. And like I said, a lot has changed since the last time you and I talked. Dylan had his horrible neck injury and had to step down. Chachi stepped in. Then Tony got religion, so I'm told, and he stepped down and was replaced by Nick Fueling. How has having the new guys in the band sort of altered the band's chemistry?
Yeah, I mean, obviously losing some of our core guys that have been with us since the beginning was tough, and, you know, losing any member always is like, where are you going to go from here? And obviously the fear that comes with that, you know, it's just like, are we going to be the same band and whatnot? But, you know, having Chachi and Nick, we both grew, again, we kind of grew up with those guys, so we made sure that we stay rooted with our, you know, kind of Michigan family ties. And Chachi came in and, of course, you know, introduced us Nick, and Nick's kind of come in and started part-time first and then kind of earned his respect, you know, over the past 8 months touring with us nonstop. And, you know, they both earned their place, and ironically, it's an even better band than it ever was. So, I mean, crazy to think that, you know, we were going to be in the position we are when all that went down. But, you know, we just feel very blessed to still be grinding it, and from a band and a personal standpoint, to be able to be writing the best music of our career is just incredible considering the circumstances. So, you know, we're excited for it.
Absolutely, and horrible for Dylan, obviously, that he can't continue doing what he loves, but definitely a strong guy you got there in Chachi. And I had to ask around as soon as I heard Tony was stepping down, because I know he did some of the writing in the band. And I was like, oh my God, is this going to change the dynamic of the songwriting and everything? And from everything everybody's told me, taking nothing away from Tony, Nick's a phenomenal guitar player, makes the band a lot stronger in that area. So the question becomes, how does he add to the songwriting? So coming to the songwriting.
Yeah, this is a great question. You know, I mean, and Tony did a lot of writing with me and the guys, you know, in the early years. But, you know, it's kind of, you get to a place where you're just kind of complacent. You're constantly touring so much this day and age that, you know, there's no time to write. It seems like the bigger the band got, you know, it's harder to write. And, you know, Tony wasn't writing as much, and obviously he was doing his own thing. And, you know, I was having to carry the brunt, trying to go to the other guys as much as possible. And then Nick came in and, you know, kind of had his material that he was writing, and they're like, holy cow, you write too? Are you kidding me? Like, and so his writing on this record is just incredible, and, you know, it's kind of helped the evolution, because having a lead guitar player is a big part of your sound, and, you know, replacing a guy as big as Tony was in our band was definitely not an easy thing to do. And, you know, Nick, just with his writing, I think kind of sealed the deal with us. I mean, he's just an incredible writer. He's just so easy to work with. He's so humble. Again, he's got his Michigan ties, but he's from Pittsburgh, so of course that was always like, being from Michigan, a big Detroit fan, the big Pittsburgh-Detroit rivalry in any sport was always like it felt like we were always razzing Nick. But, you know, he's quickly earned his place, and just brought an amazing new sound, was still respecting what we've done to get to where we're at. He's kind of taken it to the next level and added his spice to it. I think, you know, you're going to really be able to hear that once the albums drop here in May. And, you know, we look forward to everyone hearing the new sound and the new chapter for Pop Evil. We're excited.
Absolutely. And I got your back, Nick. Steelers love for you there. But you guys, with the changes you guys have had to sort of get back to some similarity and feeling grounded, you guys went back into the studio with Johnny K again.
Yeah, I mean, we just felt Johnny K has done a lot to help us get to where we're at, really helping shape our identity. And the first album was, you know, kind of our rookie year in a sense. You know, it felt like it was our first time really recording a record. And, you know, with the aura that is Johnny K, you know, it was a lot of, wow, you know, like Johnny knows a lot. Let's listen to him and just kind of do what he says and let him direct us, you know. But this time it was more, we know our fans, we know our audience, we know who we are individually, and we wanted to put together a record for the first time that we wanted to do from start to finish. And Johnny was he's such a great talent himself. And, you know, knowing that, you know, the band's in a position now, you know, to finally be like, wow, I understand what you're saying. We're going to do that for you guys. You guys are in the position now where I can take a step back kind of align the pieces and let you guys do all the dirty work. And that's what we did. You know, we kind of came in there with it. We had a vision. We had 7 songs written before we came in there, and you know, we wrote another 7 to 8 in the studio. And that's one thing we never had a chance to do, is really be organic in the studio. It was always like we were under the gun, whether it was the record label, whether it was managers, whether it was the situation, and we always felt like we were, you know, always doing what everyone else wanted us to do. And now, for the first time, you know, everyone, I guess with the success we had with War of Angels, everyone backed off and was like, whoa, 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 you guys know what you're doing. So, you know, they let us do our thing, and we put together the record that we've always wanted to do, and it turned out even better than any expectations. Obviously, with our first single, Trenches, I mean, it just turned out insane, and it's a statement piece. You know, it's a statement piece, not just for me lyrically, but for the band coming together as a unit, the 4 of them saying, hey, you know, we're going to pride ourselves in the music and let Leigh write the lyrics and do his thing. And I mean, actually, Trenches was one of my riffs that I had done. We were going to drop as a bonus thing on War of Angels, and it just kept getting pushed around. It wasn't there yet. And, you know, of course, going out there and working with Johnny K, it really went to the next level, and ended up being the first single. So, you know, we're really excited about the new sound and where we're taking our identity. And, you know, hopefully it'll be received well. As, you know, I know we're still only a week in to the single, but, you know, hopefully it'll be received well, and, you know, it'll be a big song for us.
Yeah, absolutely. War of Angels was such an impressive album, and it took so long to get out, then paid such huge dividends for you guys. What was the mindset when you started working on the new record?
Well, yeah, I mean, War of Angels was a great piece of work from us, but it felt like, you know, again, like we were, you know, in a position where we were new. You know, we were just so excited to finally work with an A-list producer, with Johnny K, that, you know, we didn't really know what to expect. We just kind of went in there with an open mind, and we're like, look, let's let Johnny produce us. You know, now this record, you know, we went in there with a totally different mind state. It was a focus. It took us 6 months to do War of Angels. It took us 1 month to do this new record. I mean, that's how focused we were. We went in and we just grinded, and, you know, constantly writing on the road and always writing with riffs. And I think the bond that Chachi and Nick brought just kind of, you know, it's just like in anything in life. Sometimes if you're around those people for a long period of time, things can get stale. And, you know, Chachi and Nick kind of brought this new youthful energy to the band that kind of reminded, you know, the veterans of the band, Matt, Dave, and I, that, wow, you know, this is fun still. Because sometimes when you're touring, constantly trying to break your band into situations that Pop Evil had been dealt, you know, it can be disheartening sometimes. So I think that kind of energy, kind of that focus was like, look, this is, you know, you never know, we're not guaranteed tomorrow. Let's make sure this record that we don't have any, oh man, I wish I would have done this, or I wish we would have, you know, recorded this song, or I wish we had used this guitar tone. You know, this time we were very strategic about everything from the drum tone to the mic I was using, where last record I wouldn't have cared about that. I just would have been like, look, Johnny's got the platinum on the wall, I do not, let's just listen to him. But this time it was like, we don't care about platinum, we're not trying to do any of that stuff, we're just trying to put together a great piece of art and a great album that, you know, our fans can embrace, and hopefully open the doors to many new Pop Evil fans to come in as well. That's just the goal.
Now, when you and I talked last time about War of Angels, to me, that was sort of your signature then. You guys had finally found that pocket where you were really there, but now you guys have evolved as a band in terms of people, growth, songwriting, and whatnot. And of course, fans are going to have a little bit of fear. How much are they going to stray from what they did? So is Onyx a continuation or extension of War of Angels, what you delivered there, or is it a progression in your guys' mind of the band's sound?
Well, without giving it away too much, obviously, coming out in a couple months here, I want fans to decide for themselves. But to me personally, it's a progression in the fact that it's, you know, it totally destroys the previous 2 records. Just personally, just for the fact that for the first time in our careers, it feels like a rock band. You know, before it was okay, we did the independent thing, then we got a record deal, and we signed it, and we had to remix and remaster. Then we got, you know, War of Angels was really our first time that we got to really record with an A-list producer. And then, you know, then we left the record deal. So there's always turmoil, and all our records, you know, ironically, have succeeded this way. They never really were released properly. You know, there's always some obstacle that, you know, kind of held the album back or held the singles back, you know, because the label wasn't on the same page, or we were leaving the label. It was just always so much drama that was always involved. Now, for the first time at E1, our new label, that it's all full guns a-blare, and everyone's believing in this music. Everyone's really excited about this album, and most importantly, the band, we're really excited about each other for the first time. You know, we all understand our roles, And, we're not trying to fight each other internally about, well, I want this spotlight, or I want to write this, or I want to sing this, I want to play this. Everyone knows their position, and everyone's very supportive of each other outside of their position. That makes sense. It's a very sports mindset, it's very sports mindset where you're like, you're totally like starting five. Everyone's going out there trying to win that battle every day, and everyone's role is very important. And I think that brotherhood is really going to show through when people finally listen to this record, because it was just such a better vibe in the studio of all the band members supporting each other and, really trying to lift and pick each other up rather than kind of hold each other back, where I felt in the past, and I just think and even though I wouldn't say we held each other back in a big way, but, it's just finally for the first time everyone's starting to develop and kind of, I guess, graduate in a sense and mature to say, hey, these are my brothers, these are my boys that I want to ride with, and we're going to support each other rather than try to hold each other back and kind of get it. I think in the early years we thought, it's very naive. You think you're just going to get some record deal and make a lot of money and retire in 2 years. That's just not the case. In this day and age that is rock and roll, there's no money, there's no glamour. We're not on the cover of magazines. We're not winning Grammys. It's like you got to just put together records for people that still believe in this genre and people who want to come out and support live bands. And obviously being from the Midwest, we just want to be one of those bands that helps remind people that rock and roll is very much alive, and we're going to do our part to make sure that it's respected. And hopefully, one day will come where rock and roll will be part of the mainstream again, and hopefully we'll be a band that was a part of that.
Well, and that's a nice segue, too, because you guys, like you said, you've released the first single, Trenches, which is about fighting the battle to overcome and persevere. You guys have sort of been through the trenches, fighting to get the last album out, fighting the struggling music industry and the music piracy problems, and losing 2 members of the Pop Evil family. So it has been, you guys have been down in the trenches and everything, but you are persevering and making. I thought War of Angels was one of the best hard rock albums that's come out in the last 10 years, so I'm psyched to see what Onyx is going to be like. But talk.
Yeah, I mean, and War of Angels was great, and it was just. I mean, I think Onyx destroys it just for the fact, just our tones, just where our writing, the songwriting is just way better. I held myself accountable to make sure that the writing is just next level, and I've tried to exceed my boundaries on where I would go, personally, what I would write about. It's just interesting to see the growth, when I'm on the outside looking in. But obviously being on the inside of it, and obviously a big writer in the band, it's just important to, keep it interesting for yourself and to make sure, with songs like 155 and Monster You Made, we already wrote those. We're not just going to regurgitate stuff that worked. We want to make sure we respect the songs that got us here, but also make sure that we keep it fresh and, we take it to the next level. We already wrote those songs. We don't want to look back. We want to give you new songs like Trenches. We've had a lot of great feedback already, and it's just still brand new. So it's, it's about taking songs like Hero, Last Man Standing that worked before, very, very driven, very inspiring, about battling and working it out, but still, putting a different twist. I mean, this one's meaner, it's more groove, it's got more of a groove, it's more danceable. And, just again, it's just about understanding your fans and knowing what they want to hear and making sure you can put together a record for them instead of trying to do it just for us, just for the label and just what other people want you to do. We made it for them, we made it for us, and that at the end of the day is, I think the true success is going to be with Onyx this time around.
Nice. So is there a story behind the title of the new album?
Well, I kind of like this particular album. I don't really want to explain everything on my own. I want people to kind of, do it on their own. I mean, Onyx has a different meaning to me than maybe the other 4 guys in the band, but basically it's about, Onyx is a timeless stone, and if you look at the darkness that is this business, only the strong survive, only the strong get through the trenches, and they find themselves, on top. And if you really want to be the band that stands the test of time, you have to write the music that connects, and that at the end of the day is what makes Onyx so timeless. It's that solid beauty that is when you see an Onyx jewel, when you see an Onyx stone, that's what makes it so valuable, is the purity inside. And it's not always the prettiest stone people want to flock to, like the diamond or in the emerald or whatever it is. But when you think of the Onyx, it's solid, it's strong, it's been there since the beginning of time. It's always been there. But has it been the most valued? Has it been the one that people have always wanted to get? You don't go marry your loved one with an Onyx ring. You do it with a diamond. So it's like, it's a symbol. It's a symbol to us that, you know, we are growing and we are grinding. We're doing the right things. We don't need awards and people praising us to tell us that we're not. It starts with the five of us, and it starts with the core. And if you can look at yourself in the mirror at the end of the day and be proud of the music you're putting out, in every album we want to do that. And that at the end of the day is the Onyx. That at the end of the day is the nucleus of what Pop Eagles about.
You're so excited about it. You're making my nipples hard. It's better than War of Angels. That's hard to imagine. But
just my. I mean, don't get me wrong. There's the amazing songs on there that I'll probably play for the rest of my life. But to me, it's not better. It destroys it. I mean, it's just night and day different. But War of Angels was awesome. Lipstick on the Mirror is great, because without those two albums, Onyx would have never been written. You know, we had to go through our trials and tribulations.
Right.
You know, to find out who we are. And, you know, when you don't get the money spent on you to work with the cream of the crop anymore in at this format, you have to artist develop yourself. You have to do a lot more yourself to get to where you want to be, and it takes a little longer. And, you know, I've called this album our graduation album. It feels like that internally. It feels like that sonically. It feels like that artistically, to know, hey, we know who we are now. Now let's go. It's almost like, you know, we took those first two albums to kind of discover who we are, and we're okay with that. I'm okay to admit that. I mean, I'm not trying to be something I'm not, and I think that we all are growing daily, and we're all growing and becoming, and we're all changing. I think we're becoming different people every year, you know, whether it's for the better or for the worse. And musically, as an artist, I think there's no difference there, you know, and when you can tap into that and really, you know, do something incredible, that's when you have those moments where you can look back, hopefully one day, and say, wow, you know, I was really in tune to that. And, you know, we think that Onyx is that record for us. It really feels like a rock band. It really feels like a brotherhood, you know. And I guess that if someone was asked, well, what do you mean by rock band? What does that mean? And I would say it means a brotherhood. It means an awareness and a responsibility to your fans to know that, hey, they're watching, they're counting on you, they're listening. You know, we're in the trenches now for their kids one day. What about the future, the next generation that wants to, he doesn't care about pop, he doesn't care about country, he wants to be a rock star, he wants to play rock music. He needs bands like us to fight in these trenches now, you know, so maybe one day it'll be a little easier for them. And, you know, our kids just come in and, you know, pick up a six string and not feel like they, you know, rock is not cool. You know, every time, I think in my life in the past, rock and roll was always the coolest thing. And, you know, obviously coming from Michigan with Detroit Rock City and Bob Seger and Eminem, I mean, I grew up, I bleed rock and roll music. So to be a part of that and to be, you know, a part of that band that is putting out rock music for the world to hear, I mean, I think that's a big responsibility. And it's something I wasn't aware of on the previous two records that I'm more than aware of this time around. Something that I think that the pride and the passion in the lyrics down to the music, I think that, you know, the fans are going to definitely embrace, and I think they're going to be able to see it. It feels more honest. It feels more believable. It feels like a band that's coming into their own, that's finding their purpose, and I'm excited to see what people see as it gets released.
They say that bands really tend to find their groove. It's like that the 3-year thing in sports. They tend to find that groove and signature with their third album. You know, I'm really
we've been hearing that. It's funny, you know. We'll see if this is that third thing for us, because everyone's saying it. But and maybe there's truth to that. It does feel like the third album around. It just feels different. Don't get me wrong. Hey, buddy. Sorry, I got the kids on.
That's okay.
Okay, we're gonna play Toy Story. Okay, buddy. Sorry, we got all the kids in here today. They're all excited when we roll in, when the tour bus rolls home. But
absolutely,
you know, it's important. You know, it's about the kids, and it's about the next generation, and it's about being a role model. If you're going to be a lead singer in a front band, you know, forget magazine covers, forget all that. There's people on the short term that have helped you get here that are looking to you as a role model, and it's a big responsibility. And when that builds into your fans and that builds into people worldwide, you know, I think that it's important to hold yourself accountable to make sure, is this riff, is this lyric the best? I mean, I'm keeping 2 songs off the record because I didn't think that they're good enough, and they're probably awesome. They would have probably smoked on War of Angels, but that's the level of, I guess, professionalism we're trying to hold ourselves to be like, look, this isn't good enough, then it's not going on. Let's give it more time. Because I felt like in the previous albums we were always rushed. So a song that might have not fit the record, but still a great song, you know, we had to put on. So there's a lot of like, you know, we were going from point A to point Z without everything in between. You know what I mean? So this record, we wanted to make sure that, you know, we put together a collective piece of work, whether it was 1 song or whether it was 12 songs, to say, hey, this is Onyx. This is who we are right now in our lives. This is a record that we're all proud of. We can look back and say every one of these songs was what we wanted to do every one of these songs is what we believe in, and every one of these songs are going to help somebody in our format. It's going to help somebody in a positive way. And at the end of the day, it's what music's about. It's about helping when others can't. It's about saying the things that are relatable that others when others can't. And I think if you think of any medicine, any remedy out there, nothing's been there more than music. It's like when those pills don't work, or when that booze doesn't work for you, music's always there to finally, heal the pain and, hopefully share a relation between, a person and their favorite artist that, that, hey, we're here to help. We're going through your pain too. And we're trying to help you musically to hopefully help you cope.
Absolutely. Now, Onyx is not out until May 14th, so we got a couple months to go, but you guys are right back out on the road starting this Friday, March 15th. How much of the new record, obviously Trenches, I'm sure you're going to play, how much of the new record are you going to road test these first couple of months before the album comes out?
Yeah, that's a good question. I mean, we haven't played it all yet. I don't think we've actually played through even Trenches together as a whole band yet. We've just been in the studio, bits and pieces together, because we've been writing it, so we haven't even really played it. I mean, we're going to dive in and, start learning half the record first, just to see what we can play and whatever we feel sounds great. Obviously we're going to play Trenches. We got to play the single, and we're just going to start from there. We're going to start with one song, and if it gets better, we'll play two, and then we'll add three. And obviously we're going to not play the whole record till the album's out, to keep people excited and to have them come out when the album's released, and then they can hear that. But we're just taking it one day at a time. We haven't been on tour since Las Vegas on New Year's Eve, so we're going to get back, and none of us have been practicing any of the old stuff because we've been so hot and heavy into the new stuff. So, we're just going to dive back into the touring cycle, and just kind of hang out with each other, get on the bus. We're just going to have a couple sound check parties where we're going to get together with some fans, some close friends before the shows, and we're going to just practice, go over some of the new stuff, and whatever sounded good, we'll probably throw in, and just. It's probably going to be spur of the moment, though, to be honest. We're just going to, if that song feels good today, we'll play this one. Maybe we'll rotate it in and out. We'll rotate songs and just kind of get comfortable with playing the new stuff till around springtime when the album drops, and then we'll try to play it all, and that'll be interesting. Our what did we say? Our pop musical catalog just tripled, so it's going to be interesting to see the songs we cut, and every band member's got their opinion about that. So that's interesting when I look back. I never would have thought today with 3 albums deep, we got all these songs now, so it's going to be interesting to see what ones we keep and what ones we cut. And,
right.
Especially we're not a true headliner yet at the format, so we still open when we do the bigger tours, so it'll be interesting to see. We'll have to cut some singles with all the singles we've had, so we'll have to see what singles we play and what ones we don't to showcase some new stuff. So it's the battle continues, and then once you get it figured out, then management comes in and they want to hear this or hear that. So, but that's the fun part. It's going to be the evolution of the touring cycle, and we look forward to getting back on the road. And
well, I look forward to getting you guys to my neck of the woods, because it's been 2 years since you were here, and you only got to play 4 or 5 songs. We'll have to get you in and do one of those radio station things where you come in and headline the thing and blow us out with a full hour or so. That would be
great. That would be great. Well, we're doing the full hour, and I think now on 15, if I'm not mistaken, for the next 2 weeks in March, and then we're going to Sweden to shoot our music video for Trenches. So I'm excited to do that. I'm going to go overseas to shoot it. So. We're just doing some things. We're taking some chances on this record that we didn't do before, and it just is exciting to do that and keep it fresh internally, because at the end of the day, where we spend the most time is with each other. So we got to make sure that it's enjoyable and entertaining for us. So when you see us live, we're ourselves, and we're not tired and just overspent and just just dry. We want it to be fresh and exciting. I mean, we had so much fun putting this album together. We want to make sure that comes across on stage, and that's the point. So we're looking forward to diving in.
Absolutely. Well, you got the full Metalholic support on this side. Before we get out of here, you got the kids, you got stuff you got to do. Going to ask you a couple more quick questions, totally pointless and random, just for fun. Going through winters in Michigan, I have to ask, what's your favorite comfort food?
Oh, my comfort. Well, I spent the whole winter in Chicago this year, so my comfort food's been tons. It's been I'd say my favorite comfort food is barbecue, brisket.
Nice.
This winter, it's been brisket and warming up with that barbecue. So I can't even talk about it. I'm getting hungry already.
Last question then: if you could play any professional sport, what would it be, in which position?
Oh man, a good one. I'd be playing, man, I'd probably be playing college football. It'd be my first choice for the Wolverines. I'd be wearing number 2, the jersey, and I just go in. Now I'm getting older. I'd like to just play on a 4th and 1 on the 1-yard line.
Pound it in there.
Just put me in for one play. I'd be like the refrigerator Perry. Just put me in on one play. And otherwise, those guys knock me out now, man. I'm just all rocked out. Probably I'd bleed Jack Daniels if they tackle me.
Nice.
But I think that, or I'd probably play. I wouldn't mind playing for the Miami Heat with LeBron. I could just pass him the ball and watch him every night. Have a front row seat. That'd be nice. That'd be a nice way to go.
There you go. How cool would that be? Leigh Kakaty, Pop Evil, the new album Onyx coming out May 14th. On our way out, final words.
I just thank you for all the support, all you evils out there. It is coming, the next chapter, Evil Nation. It's coming, and it's coming in the color of Onyx.